Welcome to Hell Zone, aka the zone with some subpar level design and the absolute worst enemies in a Sonic game, like that starfish right there. Once he notices you, after a few seconds he explodes and shoots little spikes into 5 different directions. Now this isn't too bad right there, because you can avoid it pretty easily, but they are placed in the worst areas, and I hate it so consistently. That crab guy sucks as well. He's also positioned poorly, because this is the first time you're going to see him, and chances are he's going to attack you immediately the moment you see him, and you won't be able to avoid him. And let's just go Supersonic here for safety. Now there's one more, yep, that one right there. That praying mantis reacts to you immediately, and I'm pretty sure, like, everyone consistently hates that guy in particular. Like, I don't hear as many complaints about the starfish or the crab enemies, but nobody likes the praying mantises because you have absolutely no time to react to them. Honestly, that's 2 of the 3 enemies in this zone, ones that are just almost impossible to react to immediately, and the last, well, depending on where they're positioned, i.e. right here, yeah, they'll shoot spikes at you, and you have to be running in one direction in order to get these to move. So yeah, what fun, right? Of course, if you move to the right, they'll go up. If you move to the left, they'll move down. Keep that in mind, and you won't crush yourself or make the platforms impossible to use. For example, if I were to run into the left and it went to the ground, well, I'd have to move back in order to respawn them. Oh, and the bridge didn't work. Man, Robotnik, this is your base, right? Why is it so faulty? I'll be honest, this place makes Scrap Brain Zone look good. I mean, I thought Scrap Brain Zone wasn't the most fun area in the game. But the thing is, at least it actually worked well, and even if it was pretty difficult, I don't know, I didn't think it was quite unfairly difficult, just maybe a little overly... See, I don't quite call it the fairest difficulty. I'm having trouble finding the words here, but, what would I describe Scrap Brain Zone as? I don't know, difficult, but maybe you have a chance. I think part of it is just the enemies are almost impossible to react to, whereas in Scrap Brain Zone, it was more the obstacles that were a pain to deal with. Yeah, because the enemies there really weren't much of a problem at all, but here... no, they're placed in the worst places, and they are very hard to react to. And I think that's the main reason I dislike this area. Thank goodness I didn't land on his claw. There's a reason I call the level design subpar and not terrible. I don't like the fact that a lot of it loops back in on itself, so it might be easy to get lost at points, but at the same time, it's not the absolute worst. And these little obstacles do have a pattern. Just stay still, make sure they're not going to be moving into you. They always move they move clockwise most of the times, I think. I want to say some move counterclockwise, but even then you can see them coming. And yeah, that's why the starfish enemies are terrible. There's really not much you can do unless you slow down early and then jump just in time for them to explode. And now, we can go Supersonic, which, to be fair, I don't really want to do immediately, but I do anyway. I kind of wanted to go Supersonic right here. This is where it was important to do that. Actually, no, because the starfish exploding do count as them dying, so it wasn't even necessary. So no, I didn't want to use Supersonic at all just yet. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is just the controller for some reason. But it's supposed to be you double jump and then you use Supersonic, but yeah, for some reason, every time I just did a normal, well, not every time. Sometimes I was able to not go Supersonic, but maybe that was a lighter jump, I don't know. It's definitely not supposed to happen, so that's why I'm pretty sure it's on my end. Don't really care for these Steam platforms that you have to wait for to push you up. And thank goodness for ring boxes, because I am kind of running low on rings. I mean, 30 rings doesn't seem too low, but you'd be surprised. You kind of want to maintain over 50 at all times, just because, if you go through a drought like this, now I've only got 20 seconds left in a very slow section. And that's not exactly ideal. Wasn't making these jumps too well either. And unfortunately, unlike in Sonic 3, there's no way to actually increase your ring counter by 50. Like in that game where you have the giant rings, which just give you an automatic supersonic, which was nice. Tails, don't you dare! Tails, don't put the platform in the ground. Otherwise, I will be very upset with you. And again, he would probably either do that or launch himself into spikes. Either way, it doesn't really matter too much to me, but eh. Whatever. Tails, your AI is terrible. Just, please, Tails, please seek help. Seek better AI so that you are not always constantly either harming yourself or bothering me. It's not at all a good combination. It's not something you want. Also 6 seconds, and for... at least be out of the lava before you're unsupersonicking. Also, that's some weird-looking lava. Didn't say that before, but I don't know. Something about the lava in this zone always bothered me. It's probably not natural lava, but I don't remember the Sonic 2 manual enough to know if it actually mentioned anything in this zone. Maybe it did. Thankfully, I believe we're almost at the end of the stage. Oh, what? A Robotnik sign? Does that mean there's no boss here and we're just going to move on to the next zone? Well, unfortunately, the worst zone in the game decides to pay tribute to Sonic 1 and have 3 acts instead of just 2. Thanks, MetrUghpolis. You couldn't possibly get any worse, and then you do. Now you got those slow-moving but very big platforms. It's nice that they're large, because that's definitely helpful. Yeah, that being said, though, I really don't like the fact that there are 3 acts. I mean, 3 acts is a little tiring in general. I think their level design is a lot stronger in general when they're able to just do 2. You know, sure they're short, but at the same time they get all their ideas in a much stronger manner when they're just doing 2 zones. You know, it's not like Sonic Colors where they have, like, wildly different level gimmicks. No, this is back in the old days where you couldn't do as much fancy stuff. You could do fancy stuff, but not really, like, 5 acts in a row kind of thing. So, what, excuse me? Okay. I'm glad he didn't die. Well, basically that happens sometimes. For some reason, Supersonic just does not like the teleporters in this zone, and he just doesn't want to react to them. But anyway, yeah, I do think it's better to have 2 acts in an early game, because you can't have as many gimmicks, so what you do have, fit it all into 2 acts, everything's a lot stronger that way. It's better level design overall. I think that's one of the reasons that MetrUghpolis doesn't have the best level design either, just because they spread it out for 3 acts for some reason. Like, this isn't even the final zone. I guess you're supposed to get the feeling that it is since we're in Robotnik's base, but at the same time, if it's not actually the final zone, don't make me play through 3 acts, especially since it's terrible. There is a little more after that. I don't know if I did react to Surprise, or in Surprise rather, when I first played this game, like, oh, it seems like this is the last zone, but it's actually not. Actually, no, I definitely wouldn't have. Because I hadn't played Sonic 1, because this was my first Sonic game. I didn't play Sonic 1 until the Sonic Mega Collection Plus came out, and I was able to play it for the first time. So yeah, I wouldn't have known about the original game, so something like that would have gone over my head, and I'm out of Supersonic, god damn it. But yeah, that would have gone over my head, so MetrUghpolis might have seemed like a final level, but at the same time, not quite. Thankfully, though, we are at the boss. And by the way, the boss is also terrible. It's not overly difficult, but basically Robotnik will make little clones every time you hit him, and then hang out at the top when there are clones hanging around. The thing is, though, it's really easy for those eggs to hit you. They're spinning around really fast, so it's hard to actually react to them in time. And also notice that I believe there are only 7 of them. So, for the final hit, he's gonna do something different, right? Well, this one's pretty easy. At the beginning of the battle is the hardest because he has the most to hit you, but at the end he just tries to fire a laser at you, but it's really easy to hit him and really hard to get hit, so at least at the end the boss gets pretty easy, but thankfully that's the last we'll have to see of MetrUghpolis Zone. Next time on Sonic the Hedgehog 2, we're going to pursue Robotnik. Just in a different way this time.